The stars stretched endlessly across the blackness of space, distant points of light twinkling like diamonds scattered on a velvet cloth. For centuries, the human species had been nothing more than a curiosity to the interstellar empires. The galaxy was vast, ruled by ancient species with technology humans had only begun to understand. Yet here on the edge of explored space, humans quietly moved among them, unassuming, underestimated, and unnoticed by most. Captain Alara Finn stood on the bridge of the Horizon Seeker, watching the approaching planet through the reinforced observation glass. Her crew bustled around her, adjusting instruments and checking navigation systems. Humans had long been sent on exploratory missions, often to territories others considered too remote or uninteresting. This planet, located in a quiet sector near the Vrethi borders, had shown unusual energy signatures. No one else had bothered to investigate it. That suited the humans just fine. Alara adjusted her communication headset and spoke clearly to her team. Status report. Sensors on all frequencies. Caution and patience were human strengths, though the galaxy rarely noticed them. Keep it steady. We'll approach the surface slowly. Remember, this is a diplomatic mission first, exploration second. We are guests until proven otherwise. They prided themselves on being centuries ahead of any other species, and humans were nothing in their eyes, primitive, inexperienced, and amusingly overconfident. That arrogance, Alara knew, was a weakness. Humans had faced it before, and time and again it had turned into an advantage. The shuttle prepared for descent. The planet's surface was a mix of rolling plains and jagged mountain ranges, strange forests glowing faintly with bioluminescent flora. The energy readings suggested some mineral beneath the surface might be influencing the unusual power signatures. Humans were curious, methodical. They didn't rush into battles or claim victories through brute force. They studied, observed, and learned. As the shuttle touched down, the airlock hissed open, and the human team stepped onto the planet. Their boots sank slightly into the soft, purple-tinted soil. Lieutenant Corin activated the scanning devices, while biologist Dr. Lena Vega recorded the strange plant life. Each member of the team moved with purpose, observing and documenting, but also listening for any signs of danger. Unseen from the shadows of nearby mountains, the Vrethi watched. A small patrol had arrived hours earlier, curious about the human presence. They whispered among themselves, their voices sharp and metallic. "Pathetic creatures," one hissed. "They are no threat. Look at their vessels, primitive, slow, fragile. They think they can study our territories without consequence. It will amuse the Council." Not only could they store energy far more efficiently than human technology could normally allow, but the way it responded to magnetic fields suggested that it might be manipulated into new forms of power. Alara looked over the data with quiet satisfaction. "This could change everything," she said softly, not that the aliens would ever notice or understand. "But we proceed with caution. No sudden moves. We document and report." "What are you doing here? This place is under Vrethi watch. You have no right to be on our territory." "A species so small, so weak, thinking it can explore without consequence. Do you not know your place? Underestimating us is your mistake, not ours. But know this, the galaxy is larger than your council believes, and not everything can be measured by power or fear." As the team collected the final samples and returned to the shuttle, Alara's mind was already racing with possibilities. These minerals could transform human technology. If applied correctly, they could amplify energy shields, enhance propulsion systems, even create new forms of communication that alien species could not intercept. Knowledge, patience, and careful observation were tools humans had mastered over centuries, and now they had stumbled upon something that could finally level the playing field. The shuttle lifted off the surface, leaving the mountains and forests behind. The Vrethi watched silently, confident that humans posed no real threat. They would be mistaken. Humans had long learned that survival in the galaxy depended not on arrogance, but on strategy, unity, and adaptability. And humans were exceptional at all three. Back on the Horizon Seeker, the crew gathered around the data consoles. Charts, graphs, and scans filled the room with a soft glow. Corin spoke first. "The energy readings, they're unlike anything we've seen. This isn't just powerful. It's flexible. It responds to thought patterns, algorithms, even improvisation." Vega added, "If we harness this correctly, we could create technology that moves faster than anything the Vrethi have ever built. Shields, weapons, communication arrays, even propulsion systems." The galaxy is still asleep to our potential. Humans may have been underestimated, laughed at, and dismissed, but every step they took was a calculated move in a larger game the galaxy did not yet understand. As the Horizon Seeker sped away, Alara allowed herself a small smile. The humans had arrived quietly, humbly, but with knowledge and insight that could change everything. The oldest rule of the galaxy, never enrage the humans, was about to be tested, and humans were ready. The stars stretched endlessly ahead, and for the first time in generations, humans were no longer minor players. They were observers, learners, and quietly, the galaxy's most underestimated force. And that was exactly how they liked it. The Horizon Seeker glided silently through the void, leaving the purple-tinged planet behind. Its hull reflected the faint starlight, a sleek testament to human ingenuity. Inside, the crew moved with purpose, their eyes fixed on the holographic displays and data streams filling the bridge. The minerals they had collected were unlike anything humans had encountered before, and already their minds were buzzing with possibilities. Alara Finn stood at the center of the bridge, her gaze sharp. Humans had always thrived on challenges, and this discovery was more than a scientific breakthrough. It was a hint of opportunity in a galaxy that had long underestimated them. She tapped a console, projecting the energy readings across the main display. Corin, Vega, everyone, look at this. This is not just a power source. It's adaptive. It responds to patterns, to changes. If we understand it fully, we could use it to defend ourselves in ways no one expects. Not conscious, but it reacts, adapts. If we combine this with our AI and our technology, the possibilities are staggering. Faster shields, stronger energy fields, even propulsion that can adjust to unexpected conditions mid-flight. They won't see how quickly we can integrate this into something practical. They'll underestimate us, and that will be their mistake. Their strength was not just in technology, but in adaptability, creativity, and unity. And now, they had found a resource that could tip the balance even further. The shuttle continued toward human-controlled space, passing asteroid fields and drifting comets. Outside, the galaxy stretched in every direction, vast and untamed. Inside, the humans worked tirelessly, analyzing the minerals, running simulations, and designing prototypes. Every calculation, every test was done with meticulous care. The humans knew that patience and observation were their allies, just as much as courage and ingenuity. Meanwhile, far across the galaxy, news of the human expedition reached the Vrethi Council. The aliens gathered in a massive chamber filled with floating holograms and intricate devices. The Vrethi prided themselves on knowledge and power, yet now there was a ripple of unease. "They returned," one of the council members hissed, its eyes narrowing. "The humans, with samples from our territory. We allowed them to explore, we could have destroyed them, yet they survive. Perhaps luck favors them, or perhaps they are more capable than we assumed. The galaxy does not change because a human touches a rock." And that unpredictability, that spark of ingenuity, made them dangerous in ways the Vrethi could not yet measure. Back on the Horizon Seeker, Alara convened a team meeting. "We need to analyze the minerals fully before we consider applying them," she said. "We cannot rush. The Vrethi think they know our limits. They will be surprised when they discover we have none." But most importantly, they responded to improvisation. If the humans made a sudden adjustment, the minerals would adapt in real time. "This is incredible," Vega said one night, her eyes reflecting the soft glow of the instruments. "The minerals don't just react to preset commands. They respond to thought, to strategy, to creativity. They are almost like partners, not tools. If we can harness this, we could outthink any enemy." Communication channels were filled with routine traffic, greetings, and the usual bureaucratic chatter. But Alara's message to the station's command was brief and measured. Mission successful. Samples secured. Immediate analysis underway. No interference observed. The humans had learned long ago that humility and patience were as important as courage and strength. They did not boast, did not provoke, did not reveal the full extent of their discoveries. They waited, observed, and planned. The galaxy might mock them today, but tomorrow, humans would rewrite expectations. While the crew worked, Corin noticed a pattern in the energy readings. "Captain, look at this," he said, pointing to the display. "The mineral's reaction is more sensitive than we realized. It doesn't just store energy, it multiplies it when combined with a directed input. If applied strategically, this could magnify even small systems into something extraordinary." And that is exactly why we will succeed where they fail. A small drone, equipped with human-designed energy amplifiers, was sent into a simulation field. It faced automated defenses modeled after Vrethi tactics. The drone adapted, learning in real time, turning traps into opportunities, finding paths where none seemed possible. The team watched in awe as it completed its objectives with efficiency and ingenuity that no one would have expected. "This is more than technology," Vega said softly. "It's a reflection of us. Humans have always thrived where others fail. We adapt, we improvise, and now we have the tools to do it on a scale the galaxy has never seen. But when the time comes, they will remember this day as the moment they ignored the humans at their peril." To the Vrethi it was confusing, frustrating. To humans it was expected. Predictability was the enemy of innovation. One evening, as the crew gathered in the observation deck to watch the stars, Alara reflected on the events so far. "Humans have always been underestimated," she said. "We survive because we adapt, because we think, because we never assume we know everything. That is our strength. And the galaxy will learn that sooner or later. It is dangerous to assume we are weak." The team exchanged excited glances, understanding that this was only the beginning. "Tomorrow, we will begin applying these principles to larger systems," Alara said. "We will not be reckless, but we will be ready, ready for whatever the galaxy throws at us. Ready to show that humans are more than what the Vrethi think." Far away, the Vrethi watched, unaware of the true potential of the humans they had mocked. The Council believed they were in control, that the humans were insignificant, that the galaxy remained theirs to command. They did not realize that underestimating humans had always been their greatest mistake, and that soon the consequences would become impossible to ignore. The humans did not boast, they did not threaten. They prepared, they studied, and they built. And as the stars stretched endlessly before them, Alara knew one thing with absolute certainty. When the time came, humans would no longer be underestimated. And the oldest rule in the galaxy, never enrage the humans, was quietly approaching its test. The Horizon Seeker moved forward, carrying knowledge, ingenuity, and a crew that embodied the best of humanity. The galaxy remained unaware of the storm forming at its edges, a storm born of curiosity, courage, and relentless human determination. And when it arrived, the Vreth, and all who followed their arrogance, would understand that humans were not merely survivors. They were masters of adaptation, thinkers of brilliance, and the galaxy's most underestimated force. The Horizon Seeker glided silently through the quiet reaches of space, carrying with it a crew of humans who had long learned the value of observation, patience, and ingenuity. Captain Alara Finn stood on the bridge, her eyes scanning the stars, thinking not about the galaxy as it was, but as it could be, full of opportunity and full of challenge. The minerals they had collected and studied were no longer just samples. They had become the foundation for human innovation, a secret advantage that the galaxy could not yet understand. Alara had called a meeting earlier that day. "The time has come to test what we have learned," she said to her officers. "We have run simulations, we have designed prototypes. Now we need to see how they perform in a real environment. We will begin in an unclaimed system. There is no threat there, yet it will allow us to see the capabilities we have developed in action. We could create adaptive shields that adjust mid-battle, even energy systems that anticipate attacks before they happen. Good, we test first, we observe, we refine. And when the time comes, we act with precision. Remember, humans do not rush into conflict. We prepare, we adapt, and we strike when necessary. That is how we survive and how we thrive." The drones were equipped with adaptive shields, energy amplifiers, and navigation systems designed to mimic Vrethi tactics while improving upon them. Corin monitored the simulations, adjusting variables and recording results. As the drones entered the unclaimed system, they encountered an unexpected obstacle, a field of magnetic anomalies that would have disoriented most ships. The drones, however, adapted immediately. Their energy shields shifted and reconfigured in real time, allowing them to navigate safely through the dangerous currents. "This is incredible," Corin said, his voice full of awe. "They are not just surviving the anomalies, they are using them to gain speed, to optimize their path. The system itself becomes part of their strategy." Exactly, the minerals respond to strategy, to adaptation. The drones are thinking in ways the Vrethi cannot imagine. This is human innovation at its finest. Small incidents, easily dismissed at first, began to add up. They are learning faster than expected, a Vrethi Council member hissed. Every time we observe them, they respond in ways that should be impossible. It is disturbing. We have nothing to fear from insignificant creatures. Back on the Horizon Seeker, the humans continued their tests. They deployed small autonomous craft to simulate confrontations, using Vrethi-style tactics as a base for challenge. The drones adapted instantly, finding openings, exploiting weaknesses, and even suggesting new maneuvers through the integrated AI systems. Alara watched the simulations, a quiet smile on her face. This is exactly what we needed. The Vrethi believe in rigid systems, in hierarchy, in predictable responses. Humans are none of these things. We adapt, we improvise, and that is why we will prevail. The bridge was tense with anticipation, but not fear. Humans had long learned that fear was a tool to be understood, not to be succumbed to. As the test began, the small human fleet faced the simulated Vrethi formation. The Vrethi were known for their precision and power, but also for their rigidity. The humans, with their adaptive systems, moved unpredictably, weaving between attacks, using the environment to their advantage. Shields shifted seamlessly, energy systems redirected power instantly, and the drones maneuvered in patterns that confounded the simulations. "This is more than adaptation," Corin said, almost in disbelief. "The drones are thinking ahead. They anticipate attacks before they happen. They are not just reacting, they are planning, improvising, and improving on the fly. We rely on understanding, on creativity, and on the ability to turn every obstacle into an opportunity. That is our advantage, and we will use it carefully." But the humans were not naive. They understood that success in simulations was not the same as real confrontation. The Vrethi, arrogant and powerful, were still a threat. Yet humans had something the Vrethi could not predict: creativity, unity, and the ability to adapt faster than any rigid system. Word of human success spread slowly, reaching distant systems. Minor species, often oppressed or ignored by larger empires, began to take notice. Humans were not merely surviving, they were innovating, thriving, and demonstrating that intelligence and adaptability could rival brute strength. Back on the Horizon Seeker, the humans discussed the next phase. "We must expand our tests," Alara said. "We need to refine the systems, understand the minerals fully, and prepare for challenges greater than simulations. The galaxy may not wait for us to reveal our capabilities, and when we are ready, we must act decisively. It will take time, but humans excel at preparation. The galaxy has rules, traditions, and assumptions. Humans operate outside those rules. That is why we survive, why we thrive, and why, when necessary, we will shatter expectations." Each experiment, each simulation, each observation was a step toward a future the galaxy had never imagined. They were patient, clever, and united, a species underestimated by all, yet prepared to prove its worth. Far away, the Vrethi began to sense something they could not control. Reports of strange successes, unexplained outcomes, and growing human influence reached the Council. Yet they refused to acknowledge it openly. Arrogance, they believed, would protect them, but the seeds of doubt had already been sown, and uncertainty crept into their calculations. Humans, meanwhile, remained focused. They were not reckless, but neither were they timid. They understood the importance of preparation, strategy, and adaptation. And in the quiet hum of their ship, surrounded by the vastness of space, they planned not for conquest, but for survival, for mastery, and for the moment when the galaxy would finally understand that underestimating humans was a mistake no one could afford to make. Alara stood at the observation deck, watching the stars glide past. The human crew worked tirelessly behind her, building, testing, refining. The galaxy may have believed humans were weak, insignificant, and predictable, but they were wrong. Humans had always thrived where others failed. They had always adapted, innovated, and turned disadvantages into advantages. And the Vrethi, with all their pride and power, would soon discover that lesson the hard way. The stars stretched endlessly before them, and for the humans aboard the Horizon Seeker, the galaxy had never seemed more full of possibility. Every challenge, every obstacle, every expectation that had been placed upon them was an opportunity to prove themselves, not through arrogance, but through ingenuity, courage, and relentless determination. And when the first real confrontation came, the humans would be ready. The galaxy would learn that humans were not merely another species. They were a force of adaptability, creativity, and resilience. And the oldest rule in the galaxy, the one whispered among empires and generations alike, would soon be tested. Never enrage the humans. The Horizon Seeker moved quietly through the uncharted system, its crew focused and precise. Captain Alara Finn stood at the bridge, her gaze steady on the stars ahead. Humans had tested, observed, and refined their technology for weeks, preparing for a challenge they knew would come. The Vreth had begun to stir, their arrogance giving way to curiosity and suspicion, and humans were ready to show the galaxy exactly what they were capable of. Alara addressed her officers. Today, we move beyond simulations. We will demonstrate our capabilities on a scale large enough to be undeniable. But we do not attack without purpose. Remember, humans do not seek conflict for glory. We seek solutions, innovation, and survival. That is what makes us dangerous when provoked. Every maneuver has been practiced, but the systems are designed to respond to unexpected challenges as well. The Vrethi will not anticipate how we use it. They think they control the situation, she said. Let's show them how mistaken they are. Every attack from the Vrethi was met with an unexpected counter, turning potential danger into advantage. Corin could not hide his excitement. They cannot predict us. Every move we make, every adjustment, is something they haven't accounted for. Their strategies are too rigid. We are one step ahead at every turn. They adapt instantly. Even minor deviations from our plan are compensated for immediately. The Vrethi will not understand what they're seeing until it's too late. Some Vrethi vessels were disabled without a single human ship suffering significant harm. The scouts retreated in confusion, sending reports back to their council. Far across the galaxy, the Vrethi Council received the news. Murmurs filled the chambers, voices sharp with disbelief and anger. Impossible, one hissed. How could such a small human fleet defeat our scouts? They did not yet understand the humans' true strength, ingenuity, adaptability, and the ability to turn disadvantage into advantage. Back on the Horizon Seeker, the crew celebrated quietly. Humans did not need grand gestures or public displays to acknowledge success. They understood the value of patience and careful analysis. This is only the beginning, Alara said. We have proven the systems work, but we are not finished. The Vrethi will respond, and when they do, we must be ready. Their ships moved unpredictably, energy shields fluctuating to absorb and redirect attacks. Adaptive systems rerouted power to exploit weaknesses in the Vrethi formation. Drones scouted ahead, analyzing enemy maneuvers and providing guidance in real time. Every action was a reflection of human ingenuity, turning fear into strategy, danger into opportunity. Corin shouted over the comms, excitement in his voice. They can't keep up. Every attack we face, we turn against them. They are powerful but rigid. We are flexible. We are faster in thought and action. The Vrethi cannot comprehend this level of improvisation. Vrethi ships that relied on sheer force and pre-planned tactics were outmaneuvered repeatedly. Energy amplifiers allowed human ships to withstand attacks that would have destroyed ordinary vessels. Shields adapted instantaneously, turning enemy fire into harmless energy streams. The humans did not fight with anger. They fought with intelligence, coordination, and creativity. Finally, the Vrethi fleet, battered and confused, retreated. The humans pursued only briefly, then withdrew strategically. They had demonstrated power without unnecessary risk, capability without recklessness. Their message was clear: underestimating humans was a grave mistake. Back on the Horizon Seeker, the crew reflected on the engagement. We did not just survive, Corin said. We demonstrated that humans are more than what others believe. We adapt, we learn, and we turn weakness into strength. That is our true strength. And the galaxy will begin to see humans in a new light, not as weak, insignificant creatures, but as a species capable of brilliance, courage, and ingenuity. Humans were being noticed not for their power, but for their ability to think, adapt, and survive against overwhelming odds. Meanwhile, the Vrethi Council reeled. Their arrogance had been challenged, their assumptions proven wrong. Panic, frustration, and confusion filled their chambers. Humans, they are more than we believed, one admitted reluctantly. We cannot predict them. We cannot control them, and our assumptions have cost us. We must continue to innovate, to test, and to prepare for what comes next. Humans do not seek conflict, but when the galaxy forces our hand, we are ready. Every day, humans grew stronger, not through brute force, but through intelligence, observation, and ingenuity. As the Horizon Seeker drifted through space, the stars seemed to shine brighter, reflecting the quiet determination of the humans aboard. They had survived an encounter that would have destroyed less adaptable species. They had outsmarted a foe that believed itself invincible. And they had done so without losing sight of who they were, a species capable of brilliance, courage, and ingenuity. Alara stood on the observation deck, watching the endless stars. "The galaxy believes humans are weak," she said softly. "They are wrong. Humans survive because we adapt, because we think, because we never stop learning. And when the galaxy finally understands that, it will be too late for those who doubted us." And the humans aboard the Horizon Seeker knew this was only the beginning. The stars stretched endlessly ahead, full of challenges and opportunity. And humans, underestimated and overlooked, moved steadily forward, ready to prove that the oldest rule in the galaxy, "Never enrage the humans," was about to be tested. Humans had shown ingenuity, courage, and adaptability. They had turned obstacles into opportunities and assumptions into weaknesses. And the galaxy would soon learn that humans were not to be dismissed, underestimated, or provoked. The galaxy had begun to take notice. Reports of human ingenuity, adaptability, and unexpected victories spread quietly but steadily, carried by traders, explorers, and smaller species who had long observed humans from the sidelines. To the Vrethi and other arrogant empires, the humans were a curiosity. To the galaxy itself, they were becoming a force that could no longer be ignored. Captain Alara Finn stood on the bridge of the Horizon Seeker, her eyes focused on the holographic map displaying the approaching Vrethi fleet. This was no longer a test or a simulation. The Vrethi had gathered a formidable armada, determined to crush humans once and for all. They believed their superior numbers, power, and technology would make victory effortless. They had underestimated humans one too many times. Alara turned to her officers. "This is the culmination of everything we've prepared for. The Vrethi believe in overwhelming force, but humans excel at adaptability, strategy, and teamwork. We will not fight blindly. Every move will be calculated, every response intentional. Remember, humans do not seek conflict for glory. We seek solutions, and we prevail because we think and we adapt." Vega studied the energy projections of the approaching enemy. Their formation is rigid, predictable. They rely on brute strength and pre-planned tactics. Humans thrive where others fail because we adapt instantly. That will be our advantage. The Vrethi opened fire immediately, their energy beams cutting through space with lethal precision. Adaptive shields flared across human ships, redirecting and absorbing the attacks in ways the Vrethi could not anticipate. The energy amplifiers rerouted excess power to fortify the fleet, creating layers of defense that were simultaneously reactive and proactive. Corrin shouted, excitement in his voice. "They can't keep up. Every attack we face, we turn against them. Their rigidity is their weakness. Our adaptability makes us unstoppable." The Vrethi cannot comprehend this level of improvisation. The Vrethi fleet, confident in its superiority, advanced with synchronized attacks. Human ships moved unpredictably, weaving through hazards, exploiting weak points, and responding instantly to threats. Drones scouted ahead, analyzing enemy maneuvers and communicating solutions faster than any Vrethi officer could react. The humans did not fight with rage or aggression. They fought with intelligence. Each move was deliberate, turning the Vrethi's strength into vulnerability. Ships that relied on heavy armor became trapped by their own formations. Energy beams intended to destroy were redirected harmlessly by adaptive shields. The humans' creativity, coordination, and strategic thinking transformed what should have been a massacre into a series of calculated victories. Hours passed, yet the humans showed no signs of exhaustion or panic. Every obstacle the Vrethi threw at them became an opportunity. Every unexpected maneuver was countered with ingenuity. Every attempt to predict human action failed. Humans were unpredictable not because they were reckless, but because they could think, adapt, and innovate faster than any rigid system allowed. Finally, the Vrethi fleet faltered. Their arrogance, their reliance on rigid tactics, and their underestimation of humans had left them exposed. Ships were disabled, retreating, or trapped in formations designed to ensure defeat. The Vrethi commanders barked orders that the humans anticipated and countered effortlessly. It was not brute force that won the day. It was human intellect, ingenuity, and adaptability. Alara watched the outcome with quiet satisfaction. "This is what humans do best," she said. "We survive where others fail, not by strength alone, but by thinking, adapting, and working together." The Vrethi assumed superiority, but today we have shown them otherwise. That is our true strength. Today we defended ourselves and proved our capability. But humans have always looked beyond immediate victories. We must continue to innovate, to explore, and to prepare for what comes next. The galaxy will learn that underestimating humans is a mistake no one can afford to make. Their victories were measured, strategic, and thoughtful. They did not boast, they did not revel in destruction. They understood that true power came from preparation, intelligence, and unity. As the crew gathered on the observation deck, the stars stretching endlessly around them, Alara reflected on the journey. Humans had been underestimated for centuries, laughed at, dismissed, and even mocked. But in every situation, humans had adapted, innovated, and overcome. Now, the galaxy had witnessed a glimpse of human potential, and there was no turning back. Small species across the galaxy, long oppressed or ignored by larger empires, began to take notice. Humans were becoming a symbol of hope, ingenuity, and courage. They demonstrated that strength was not only in weapons or numbers, but in thought, unity, and adaptability. Far away, the Vrethi Council convened, their pride wounded and their assumptions shattered. "They are more than we believed," one admitted reluctantly. "Humans are clever, adaptable, and unpredictable. We cannot predict their actions, and our arrogance has cost us dearly." "We will not be reckless," she said to her crew. "We will continue to innovate, refine, and adapt. When the galaxy challenges humans, we will respond, not with anger, but with intelligence, creativity, and unity. That is our strength. That is why we survive and why we thrive." They had faced a superior force and emerged victorious, not because of brute strength, but because humans could think, adapt, and act with ingenuity. Every obstacle had been transformed into opportunity, every danger into a demonstration of skill. Alara looked out at the stars and smiled. Humans had survived countless threats, adapted in the face of impossible odds, and proved that their greatest strength was not technology or power, but their ability to innovate, to learn, and to unite. The galaxy might have rules, traditions, and assumptions, but humans had always existed beyond them. The Vrethi, humbled and cautious, had learned their lesson the hard way. Never underestimate humans, never provoke them, never assume weakness where there is creativity, courage, and unity. Humans had shown the galaxy what it meant to adapt, to innovate, and to survive. They had demonstrated that intelligence, strategy, and ingenuity were far more dangerous than arrogance, numbers, or rigid systems. The oldest rule in the galaxy, the one whispered among empires and generations alike, had been tested, and humans had passed. The stars stretched endlessly ahead, full of opportunity, challenge, and mystery. The humans aboard the Horizon Seeker moved steadily forward, confident in their abilities, united in purpose, and prepared for whatever the galaxy might throw at them next. They had proven their worth, demonstrated their potential, and shown that the most underestimated species in the galaxy could rise to meet any challenge. And so, the humans continued their journey, not as minor players, not as the underestimated species, but as a force defined by ingenuity, courage, and adaptability. The galaxy had learned at last that humans were not to be dismissed, underestimated, or provoked. The Vrethi, and any who might follow their arrogance, would never forget this day. Humans had arrived, not with threats or domination, but with brilliance, strategy, and the quiet certainty that they could thrive where others failed. And the galaxy would never be the same again. They shattered the oldest rule in the galaxy: never enrage the humans HFY, best HFY stories.